Alright guys, today's the day. We are taking this little rocket, my 2004 Opel Speedster Turbo, out for a proper drive on some beautiful country roads. I've had it for a couple of weeks now, but I'm still figuring out what I love about it and what I might not care much for. For those of you who don't know, this thing is basically a Lotus Elise in disguise. It's just under 900 kilograms, 2-liter turbo, 200 horsepower. It is light, it is raw, and it's got that go-kart feel. But enough talking, let's hit the road and see what this thing is really all about. Alright, we're gonna take the Speedster out on the road. Then let's see what I can do. Fun start button here. Okay, first gear. What I love about this car is it has an amazing road feel. You feel like you're on the road, you're connected to the road, and there's nothing in between you and experience of driving. Now, I have quite a few friends who have Lotuses, Lotus Elises and stuff. Those are very similar cars. This, however, is Opel Speedster, and it's made by Lotus for Opel and supposedly following a little stricter build quality, because it's a German manufacturer that wanted to create a sports car that it couldn't create itself, so contracted Lotus to produce a car that is hip, fast, to bring Opel up a little bit on a higher, so like a market value. Now, the difference between this car and Elise is that this is a much more powerful car, at least a lot more powerful than Elise S1 and S2. This has a 2-liter engine, which is turbocharged, so it delivers about 200 horsepower to only 900 kilograms, which is really fantastic, because when you step up on the gas of this car, it wants to go. The braking speed is also amazing, because it's only 900 kilograms, so it's just so easy, so fast to rev this car up and get it, to perform. Now, we are driving here through a nice wooded area and respecting the speed limits in all aspects, but this is just an amazing, really fun car that always captures attention. And even its outside looks are actually a bit more, I would say, aggressive than Elise. Elise's, Lotus Elise's, by accounts of many people, looks like a little cute bug. This car, more so on the outside, looks like a supercar rather than a, bug like Elise. I personally like its styling a bit more. Inside, it's pretty much stock Elise. However, its specifications are slightly different. It has a slightly longer wheelbase and a slightly wider, wheelbase. Not by much, but only by a couple of centimeters. But that can make a big difference, actually, in driving experience, depending on what you use the car for. Where this car really excels, the Speedster, is killer in the turns. So those hairpins and serpentines, it's really a pleasure to drive, as we will attest to, driving into towards Wallonie. Inside, these are stock seats, and I actually like them a lot. It has a really funky pump system over here. It almost looks like a blood pressure cuff. You can pump on it. It provides a lumbar support. But I always use an additional back support, which I find useful for at least my back contours or configuration. The 5-speed manual is actually a lot slicker, clickier than the most Elises that I've driven. Now, the Elises, they have been modified with different Dolomite manual shifters, or suddenly sexier looking, but as far as the feel, there's a nice click to it. So we're now at about 4,000 RPMs. That's when turbo kicks in. And if I step on the gas now, this thing propels like a rocket. It is so fast to pick up. It can be quite annoying to folks that are tailgating you and they're right behind you with the Porsches and more powerful cars, and they do not realize the pickup and the acceleration power of this car. This car can do 0 to 100 in about 5.9 seconds, I think. Oh, I'm wrong. 4.9 seconds. This car can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.9 seconds, which is really remarkable, actually. Everything in this car is manual. Even the windows are rolled down manually. So it's a really pretty basic car. There's no AC. It has climate control, which is pretty crappy. Whenever you don't need to use it, I think you're better off just keeping it off at all times. I'm in a 4-speed now. It's a comfortable cruiser. We're at about 2,000 RPMs and doing about 70 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit. But the car really, even now, driven laid back, it really behaves super well. I just like the way it sits on the road and responds to your slightest, steering wheel maneuvers. Downshift in this car, I always use a little rev matching because I believe the rev matching is really beneficial for this. But the one thing that bothers me with this car is it does not have great exhaust. Like on the downshift in a second, see what it sounds like. So again, there's a great pickup for a car that is so aggressive and is so fast to pick up. I do believe it deserves a bit more authentic, a bit more robust exhaust system. And to that point, this week we're going to exchange the stock exhaust and replace it by Larini exhaust, which will give this car a lot more character. We're in a 3rd gear right now. We're gonna get on the highway for a short bit to see how that feels. But again, accelerating with this car to get into the highway traffic, it is a really breeze. No one can really follow you. There we go. A little traffic entering the city again. But it's been a wonderful ride. I can tell you, half an hour ride in this gets your endorphin level so high, you can skip a few cups of coffee or a Red Bull. It's enough to wake you up. But the clicky feeling of the stick shift, the manual transmission is, I would say, reasonably satisfying. I love it. It's not as precise, as tight as it is in a Honda S2000, but at the same time, it does have a tactile response, which is, to me, very gratifying. It's something very special. You actually know when you're in the gear, as opposed to simple shifting without feeling that click when the gear engages in the proper speed. One other thing about this car is also its engine gets pretty hot. So if you close your windows up with your roof open, actually you'll get a lot more heat inside the car than if you turn the heating on. It's kind of quirky part of this equation, but it just says so many things and aspects for you to search and experience and experiment. You know, wonderful thing that it does for you. There we go. Welcome back home. A little bit of the work. I open it up, usually brace myself by the seat, sit on a silt, left leg out, brace here on the passenger seat, right leg out. Here we go. That was it. Opel Speedster ride, mid-afternoon for some endorphin release. Whoa, what a ride. Honestly, this car is just something else. Open top, pure roadster feel, razor sharp manual shifting, crazy acceleration for what it is, and the handling, oh man, it's just dialed in. You feel every bit of the road in the best way possible. If there's one thing I'd change, the exhaust. It's just missing that punch, that drama. That engine, that car deserves a lot more robust exhaust. But don't worry, we're working on it, so stay tuned because we will update you on that very soon. So let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Let me know how you like your own Speedster, and I'll catch you on the next one.